Elise Carter watched the sunrise through the tower's floor-to-ceiling windows. The pale light cast long shadows over desks still dimmed. She sipped lukewarm coffee out of her chipped ceramic mug, mind simulating how best to broach the day's inevitable topic, the looming restructuring. In her 7 years at Zephyr Tech, she'd climbed from QA analyst to senior product manager, earning praise for her dogged attention to detail. Yet mere days ago, she had delivered an analytical report revealing that Zephyr Tech's flagship product, Aurora Cloud, was turbocharged with fabricated test results. Aurora Cloud's performance metrics had been skewed at the command of Richard Rich Dalton, the chief technology officer. At 8 a.m. sharp, HR's head, Marisol Vega, appeared at her cubicle, expression unreadable yet clipped by corporate politeness. "Elise, would you please come to my office for 10 minutes? Elise's chest tightened. She offered a curt nod, setting down her collapsed laptop. Coworkers whispered around her, eyes glancing her way. She felt a wave of disbelieving pity from Dana Hughes, her friend in engineering. Elise swallowed and followed Marisol down the hallway. Marisol's office smelled of polished wood and vanilla air freshener. She gestured for Elise to sit in a cream armchair. "Elise, I'm sorry to have to share this news. As of today, your position has been eliminated due to organizational restructuring. You'll receive a formal separation agreement outlining severance and benefits." Her tone was empathetic yet sterile. "I see. May I ask why?" Marisol's gaze flickered downward. "The board has decided to realign product management resources. Your role is no longer required." Elise blinked, entire body going numb. She'd sensed something after the Aurora Cloud Metrics expos. She had been quietly investigated, her queries flagged as disruptive. "I suppose that's final." Marisol handed over a thick binder. "We'd appreciate if you kept this confidential until the official announcement. We wish you all the best, Elise." "Thank you, Marisol." She rose and walked out, Marisol offering a sympathetic nod. In the hallway, Dana met her, face pale. "Elise, I'm so sorry." "Thanks, it was inevitable." She returned to her desk and began packing family photo in a silver frame, her favorite hardcover of classical compositions, a tiny succulent plant. She moved methodically, putting items into her box. Her eyes landed on the unencrypted repository of audit logs she'd stashed in a hidden USB. It contained incriminating evidence of the faked test results, the Slack conversations with Rich instructing QA to make the numbers shine, and emails from the VP of Engineering urging her to let sleeping dogs lie. "Remember, don't take backup to the shredder." She carefully rolled up the cables, slid the USB stick into her bag's secret pocket, and walked to the elevator. As the door slid shut, she felt the weight of betrayed trust settle on her shoulders. Elise's one-bedroom apartment in the outskirts of the city sat quiet. The spare furnishings, one small couch, a round second-hand coffee table, a kitchenette with a crooked tile, felt more comforting than the sterile corporate office ever did. She brewed coffee in an aged pour-over and scrolled through now-dated Team Slack channels. Zephyr Tech's public Slack displayed cheerful announcements about next quarter's product goals. In the private Hash Aurora Cloud channel, engineers joked about extra budgeting for R&D. No mention of her departure. "They've swept me under the rug. But the story isn't finished." She opened her secure USB folder and reviewed the evidence again. Test scripts with overwritten pass-fail flags, email threads with Rich and the VP, logs showing QA suppression of critical defect hash 312 until after the investor demo. She glanced at her smartphone, an opt-in alert from Tech Press, a leading tech news site. "Breaking: Whistleblower alleges Zephyr Tech fabricated Aurora Cloud performance metrics." Her heart stilled. She didn't need to write an exposé. The press had already acted. The hallway outside the CEO's office buzzed with tension. Constance Vale, the CEO, stepped out, flanked by an IT security officer. Her expression was bruised. Elise, visiting on lunch break to collect her remaining things, spotted a group of employees huddled by the elevators, their whispered chatter punctuated by worried glances. Employee 1. "Did you see Tech Press? It's worse than we thought. Engineering's fake tests board furious." Employee 2. "Constance is in damage control. She's meeting with the board right now." Elise exhaled, her presence causing the cluster to scatter. She walked to the offices on the other side to finish retrieving personal items. A set of notebooks filled with project notes, the Employee of the Month plaque from Q1, and a plant whose leaves she had nicknamed Little Green. As she taped up the last box, Danica Reyes, a junior engineer, approached cautiously. Elise? I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for speaking up. Even though they silenced you, you saved all of us from being complicit. Elise. Thanks, Danica. It wasn't easy, but I believed this company could be better. Danica nodded, tears glistening. I know it, and now we can fix this. Elise allowed herself a small, hopeful smile as she headed for the exit. In a sunlit newsroom, Jordan Liu, senior tech journalist at Tech Press, scrolled through his notes for the upcoming story. He had received an anonymous tip, a cache of emails and test logs. Today was the day. Zephyrtech's House of Cards would publish at 9 a.m. He clicked Upload, releasing a detailed exposé. Headline: Leaked, Zephyrtech's Aurora Cloud passes tests on paper, fails in reality. Subheader: Internal emails reveal systematic suppression of critical defects and spun metrics by CTO and board alike. Whistleblowers' evidence included. The article laid out how QA was pressured to modify test outcomes, how the VP of Engineering encouraged positive optics, and how the CEO's annual bonus was tied to Aurora's performance numbers. Screenshots of Slack conversations with Rich Dalton, statements from internal memos instructing engineers to play nice with the metrics, and embedded PDFs of audit logs made the story explosive. At 9 a.m., the story went live. Within minutes, social media lit up. Tech Press's view counter skyrocketed. Inside a secure war room, Constance, Linda Park, chair of the board, and the remaining C-suite executives assembled around a holographic display streaming Tech Press live analytics. Constance's face was pale, her hair slightly askew. Earlier meetings had frayed her composure. Linda. The article's gaining traction fast. Our stock's down 12% pre-market. We need a containment strategy before the opening bell. Constance. I'll record a video statement within the hour, expressing regret and pledging full cooperation with an external audit. CFO. We'll restate Q4 immediately, flag the findings, but if the DOJ steps in, we're done. CTO's VP. Rich Dalton is MIA. He's in hiding. His email and phone are off. Constance's gaze snapped to the hologram. $52.25, $45.80, 12, 3%. Her jaw snapped. We can't spin this. We need radical transparency. Press release and CEO apology within 2 hours. Meanwhile, IT, pull any internal memos that haven't been taken offline and review for further exposures. A hush fell as everyone acknowledged the severity. Constance took a deep breath. Her empire's foundation had cracked, and she knew only unyielding honesty could salvage the remainder. Elise stood at her window, coffee mug in hand, scrolling through her phone. The Tech Press article had spawned dozens of follow-ups, local business channels, financial blogs, and even a viral discussion on developer confessions. The comments ranged from outrage, "They deserve to go under," to admiration. Kudos to the whistleblower. She knew many would suspect her, but her anonymity remained intact. Her phone buzzed, a text from Danica. Danica, Zebratech, Zephyrtech's wrapper, posted a job for senior QA auditor. Think what you might do with that. Elise smiled, appreciating the irony. Meanwhile, the stock dipped below $44, market cap hemorrhaging. She exhaled, gathering her notes for a public interview later. They betrayed their customers and employees. Now they're paying the price. Zephyrtech's lobby was a maelstrom. Security guards barred entry to journalists. Employees shuffled around in hushed panic. At the reception desk, a TV scrolled headlines. Zephyrtech in freefall. CEO promises overhaul. CTO vanishes, board faces scrutiny. Alana Reed, an old friend who still worked in marketing, spotted Elise at the edge, head down. Elise? Oh my God, you're the whistleblower, right? Elise forced a calm smile. I try to keep a low profile. Alana's eyes shimmered with tears. You saved us all, I got out just in time, and look what I missed. Elise nodded, acknowledging the fragile relief that survivors often feel. She turned to leave, her box of belongings from 2 weeks ago tucked under her arm, each step a reminder of all she'd lost and all she'd prevented. That night, Elise sat on her couch in the dim lamplight, flicking through a draft of her Next Steps manuscript on her laptop. She intended to submit a personal account of the scandal to a major business journal. As she wrote, she described the culture of fear at Zephyrtech, how Rich Dalton's inflated ego held the company hostage, how the board's blind faith had cost them integrity, and how Elise's silence had been weaponized against her. She paused and looked at her phone. A push notification from LinkedIn. Unusual activity on your profile. Messages poured in. Recruiters offering senior compliance roles, reporters requesting interviews, and colleagues expressing gratitude. Jillian Rhodes, her former VP, typed, "Elise, if you ever want to consult on compliance, I have connections. This is big, huge. Revenge tastes better when it's silent and thorough. Now I decide how loud my next move will be." Early the next day, Elise met with a senior editor at Business Front magazine. Over cappuccinos, she felt a quiet power as she summarized her story in measured tones. "If your account is accurate, this is a case study of corporate malpractice. Our readers will be riveted. I don't need to be in the spotlight, just let the facts speak for themselves." The editor smiled, impressed by her poise. "Understood, we'll run it anonymously, quoting you only as former senior analyst. Guaranteed impact." Elise exhaled, feeling gratification no anger could match. A vindication orchestrated quietly, without drama. Back at Zephyr Tech, the aftermath roiled. The break room, once bright and boisterous, now stood emptied, chairs flipped on tables, vending machines ajar. A whiteboard announced an upcoming town hall. Clara Nguyen, a lead engineer, sat across from Malik, who had returned as a consultant for the internal investigations. Both looked grim. Clara: "I worked nights on Aurora Cloud. We were told defects were fixed, but knew something was off, could never push back. Then you hear Elise was right all along." Malik: "We lost trust overnight. Some impacted employees filed lawsuits. One QA lead, Matt Saunders, resigned, vowing never to work here again. I wonder who else will walk. The board must go." Nearby, an HR rep taped a flyer. "Town hall today at 1 p.m. Rebuilding Zephyr Tech's future." Underneath, someone had scrawled, "You sold us lies. Now it's our turn." Office politics used to mean secret alliances. Now it's a war zone. The auditorium buzzed with tension. Constance ascended the stage, flanked by Linda Park and Michaela Reeve. Elise's exposé had galvanized employees. Attendance soared. Constance: "Thank you all for coming. Today we face the consequences of unethical leadership and misplaced priorities. We will restate Q4 results, and I personally apologize for the pain this caused. We have engaged an independent committee to search for a new CTO, someone who values transparency." A smattering of applause trickled in, but died quickly. Techs whispered among themselves, "Employee A. Whoever they pick, can they trust anyone here?" Employee B. At least they admitted guilt. "I'm implementing a zero-tolerance policy for misleading data. We will publish monthly test results. Our culture will change." Clara whispered to Malik, "We'll see how long that lasts. Promises are cheap." Malik nodded solemnly. Elise, watching remotely via conference call link, closed her laptop. She had already moved on, quietly satisfied. Elise sat at her kitchen table sipping chamomile tea. She reviewed her next steps document, detail how to leverage her newfound reputation to consult on corporate compliance, perhaps write a book. Her phone beeped, an envelope from an untraceable address. Inside, a single postcard, handwritten message. "All that's silent now can be violent later. Don't think Zephyr Tech won't come after you." The handwriting was jagged, threatening. Elise set down the card, exhaling deeply. No fear, only determination. "They thought they burned me. I rose from the ashes. They can't scare me now." Back in the office she once called home, security guard Marcus Fields scrolled through footage from the loading dock. The nighttime delivery, just after 4 a.m., showed a figure in hoodie slipping an envelope under Elise's old desk, then vanishing into the darkness. He frowned, radioed upstairs. "Marcus, we have a threat. HR wants footage of Elise Carter's exit." HR's Simone oversaw the monitors, shock on her face when she saw the postcard. "Simone, this is harassment. We need to alert authorities and issue a restraining order." The email chain pinged with updates. Security measures increased, local PD contacted. Yet a subtle tension lingered, the intangible consequence of a truth laid bare. To betray a whistleblower is to invite eternal suspicion. Mira had received an invitation from Miles Grant, the CIO for a major public sector contractor. He'd read tech press and wanted her help vetting cloud providers. "We can't risk another Aurora Cloud fiasco," he wrote. She met him in a minimalist office overlooking the river. Mira, I want to ensure no vendor can lie to us like that. I'll help you build an audit framework, verifiable logs, random sampling, third-party oversight. You'll have full support. We need your experience. My quiet retaliation yielded impact. Now I can shape a better future. ELISE, now a sought-after speaker, joined a panel on ethics in software development before a packed hall. Next to her sat Priya Kumar, a general counsel. ELISE, how can small engineering teams safeguard against unethical leadership? Build a culture of transparency, version-controlled test results, immutable logs, and a direct line to independent auditors. No one manager should have unilateral control over metrics. Empower every employee to question data. The crowd erupted in questions. How do we protect whistleblowers? What's the best legal mechanism to report fraud? ELISE and Priya fielded each with calm authority. The session ended with standing ovation. As ELISE collected her bag, a young engineer approached. Your story saved my job. Thanks for having the courage. ELISE nodded, her earlier fears replaced by quiet satisfaction. They tried to bury me, but now I help ensure the next victims are protected. Zephyr Tech's lobby had fresh carpeting and a new era banner. CEO Constance Vale announced the appointment of Dr. Anita Rao as the new CTO, veteran of multiple compliance-driven startups. The board bench also included Michaela Reeve, now formally appointed COO, and Nolan C., head of an advisory council. The company claimed a renaissance in its mission statement. Board members' staff, they still haven't found a VP finance. Every applicant wants significant control. Without a robust culture shift, Dr. Rao's just window dressing. ELISE watched from afar, her smug smile hidden. They rebuild the walls, but only time will test their foundation. ELISE, Mira, and Danica met for lunch in the same hidden cafe. The three women who'd once felt powerless now exuded quiet confidence. I consulted on that public sector RFP. Miles loved our framework. My team is expanding. Danica, I'm now head of Phantom Solutions QA. We implement random audit triggers. Never know when they'll spot bad data. ELISE sipped tea, absorbing their successes. The key was patience. Quietly gather the evidence, let the system implode. No big speeches, just facts. And a dose of good old revenge. We didn't need a megaphone. We needed persistence and a strategy. In her new role as Director of Compliance at Meridian Labs, a rival firm with a spotless record, ELISE curated an internal archive of corporate best practices. Today, she logged into the Meridian portal and uploaded ELISE Carter _whistleblower case into a secure folder accessible to all employees. She annotated each document, detailing the critical steps of evidence gathering, legal channels, and emotional toll. Documenting history ensures lessons aren't forgotten. At 1 p.m., she was invited to speak at the Grand City Plaza outside Technova's old headquarters. Today, we celebrate corporate integrity and the heroes who safeguard it. Please welcome ELISE Carter. Ascended the outdoor stage. Hundreds had gathered, a makeshift amphitheater ringed by news cameras. Thank you. A few months ago, I was fired for asking tough questions. My crime was seeking the truth. But truth cannot be silenced. It finds a way to emerge. She paused, scanning the crowd. Students in t-shirts reading, Audit Everything. Lawyers in tailored suits, engineers in hoodies. Today, I stand here to share that company culture is built not on profits, but on principles. When you see something wrong, gather facts, find allies, and speak truth, quietly if you must. The system may feel stacked against you, but integrity is the most powerful tool there is. Applause thundered as cameras flashed. A group of young women in business casual held homemade signs, "Whistleblowers are heroes," and "Silence is complicity." Revenge was sweet, but transformation was sweeter. From whispered betrayal to open reform, the journey endures. Back at her modest home, ELISE set down tea, flicked through her online profile, now brimming with endorsements for integrity and ethics leadership. She gazed out her window at the lights of the city, feeling the hush of deep contentment. I never wanted the spotlight. I wanted a world where lies didn't pay, where the quiet can achieve a louder truth. In my silent retaliation, I found my greatest victory, the knowledge that integrity cannot be extinguished. She closed her eyes, a soft smile settling on her lips. The city glowed on, only now, a little more honest, a little more real.